So the title of this, we're talking about myths and lies. What are some other myths and lies that you're seeing currently in the market and just in general? Brooks, I think you had a good one that you had texted me.
Did I text
Or
you?
Ian I know Ian texted me a few.
So one of them is no one is buying in this market, which
Right.
is just completely false. I've had just like you said, Brooks, I've had kind of an influx of people coming in the last couple of weeks. And I was like, it's Thanksgiving. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Okay, I'm out. But things like, and I'm just kidding. I appreciate those calls. I love it. But things like multifamily, I've had an increase in that. People getting excited about that. People getting leases. I've had a lot of lease calls.
Are they short term? Are they looking for like a 6 to 8 month deal? Or
no. They're like, we're gonna lease here for a minute, and they're spending money.
Yeah.
But I think when you're looking at the leases versus what they have to prepare to buy and the uncertainty, they're like, we'll chill for a year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like exactly that. And then you touched on it too, Jeremy, with the biggest misconception is the crash thing that you always hear a lot. I mean, we're not in that boat. I don't see any reason why we would be in that boat, but I have, again, kind of going back on everything, just the amount of interest to purchase or even just pre-listing packages, kind of getting things going for the first quarter next year. I've seen just an increase on that. So, I mean, we'll see how this fourth quarter plays out going into next year.
Well, Sarah, you might know this. What was the increase in mortgage applications over the last quarter or 2 weeks? Wasn't it up like 2.8% or something like that?
It was up 3%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, 3% is not huge, but is that month over month or is that year over year?
It's month over month. Year over year, they were still down.
Yeah, I would imagine it's down pretty
Yeah.
heavily. Okay. So, I mean, look, you're seeing people coming back to the market. I mean, we're all getting calls again. Let's open up our crystal ball here and let's talk about some things that we might see next year, because I'm getting a lot of people calling me that are early next year, in the middle of next year. You all are as well. Here's some things I'm thinking about going into next year. Number one, how much did builders stop building? A. B, because like builders, I mean, what I mean stop building is we had Matt Holm on the channel last week, and Matt was like, look, I have all these developers that are pulling back from building. So will that impact 2023's inventory? You know, here in Austin, we looked at inventory at the end of last year, down around the 3,000 mark. We started the beginning of the year at 1,800 units. Now we're 1,800. Let me say that again, 1,800. And now we're at 10,000. So, I mean, it's a pretty big jump. What happens with pricing and everything next year? Does inventory drop because more people jump back in the pool, or do more sellers feel the pinch from losing jobs, from, finally having to, pay back stuff, from not having to pay mortgages or whatever, from, 2020, all the pandemic stuff? Do we see, I mean, starting next year, we're, 4 times as much inventory. Do we start the next year seeing even more inventory, or is it just flat? I put this poll out on my channel, and I would say about 50% of people said that next year is just going to be flat. And then the other was broken down to, you're going to see a crash like 25%, who knows? And like 9% was it'll increase. So what are your thoughts on inventory and going into next year? Like, I want to hear from all three of you. We'll start with Brooks because you're handsome.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it's going to be flat. I mean, out here in the Bay Area, that I know is anybody that I speak to, it's any realtor, they're anticipating more business going into next year, but I still think there's a little bit of uncertainty or consumer confidence issue with buyers, and just not knowing exactly which way rates are going to go. We have little inventory, if any inventory, out here right now, but the problem is nobody's buying. We have no offers, and if the offers we're getting are mind-blowingly low compared to where actual comparable sales have sold recently. So I think it's flat. I'm not anticipating. I think 2023 on a realtor side, as far as a business owner, we just kind of have to take the punches and be able to somehow navigate through it until it picks up a little bit more. I do anticipate inflation easing a little bit and starting to see a little bit of hope for rates, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, Ian?
I love how you handed it off to him. Beautifully. It's like you've done this before.
Similar to what you said, with just realtors kind of having a lay low, I guess is the word. Right now, I have an agent. He does basically investments only, and he said his business is exactly the same. Nothing's changed. Like people that are purchasing like I said, multifamily or something, and they're getting nothing has changed for him. It's your single family residential realtor that's getting hit a little bit. But I think to answer the question, it's more of I have to see how the employment rates are going to go, and then I'm still going to lean into the return to office, because if you have too many people that are forced to return to office and they're used to being able to stay remote, that's going to change the landscape of Austin, and I don't know that. I know we don't have the answers for any of this, but I really don't know that. That's the only thing that kind of frightens me even a little.
Yeah.
I mean, Sarah, you're looking at rates. You know, Ian and I did a prediction with, who was it? Was it Trey? Where we said, you know, we all guessed where rates would be. Trey said by the end of the year, Trey said 5%. I think you said 5.5%. I said they'd be at 6%. We're looking at, if Jerome Powell doesn't hit the accelerate button, like you're saying, they may potentially drop. I'm not saying they will, but they may potentially. So what are you thinking rates are going to go into, and how does that impact next year?
You heard it here first. Yeah. Jeremy said they're going to drop. Rates are going to drop.
Well, hey, I'm closest. Well, I mean, Price is Right rules. I'm over, right? Because I said 6%. Yeah. We're at 6 point. No, I'm under. So I'm closest. So here we go.
$1.
Yeah. So I would say that based off of where the market stands today and with the news that came out today too, that we are starting to see that inflation come down. We're starting to see that it's working, right? So before I was predicting that towards the end of next year, we would be in the 5s. Now I'm actually predicting that by the end of the first half of the year, we should be in the 5s, and we should be closer to 5% if things stay on the current trajectory that they're on. I will say this, that once rates start coming down next year, like if they do, I won't say once they do, because again, I don't have a crystal ball either. And I can't say, yes, for sure this is happening, because I have no idea. Anything can happen. Monkeys can start ruling the world. I don't know. But so I would say that if rates do start coming down next year, that is probably going to start an acceleration again. With home prices, and then also people getting back on the market to buy. And there's a lot, and because there isn't that much supply, that's what's going to start driving, I believe, will start driving home prices back up again if that happens. Because now if rates come down, it becomes more affordable. Those buyers are getting off the fence. They're getting back into the market. And now it's super competitive again, because there's not a lot of listings or home inventory available. And even I was putting some numbers together actually, but this goes back to why this isn't 2008 and why isn't a housing crash, is because in like 2007, right, there was 4 million homes for sale versus today where there's 1.22 million. And builders were still putting homes out even though people weren't buying, like builders were still like producing and getting homes and building. Today, they've started decreasing. Builders aren't putting those homes out anymore. So builders today, they learned their lesson. Building starts are down 22%. Permits are down 21%. So they know that they won't get into the same trouble they did before. That goes back to basic supply and demand, right?
Builder confidence has been, for the last 3-4 months, as low as it's ever been.
Yeah. And then there's also the additional things, like we're more heavily regulated. Loans are completely different. People aren't in these like, hey, breathe on some glass, you get a loan, right? Like it's not like that anymore. So, I mean, so the type of financing is safer. And then also people have more equity in their home today. The average equity back in 2007, 2008 was 19%. Think about that. And then today it's actually 58%. So if people were to get into some bad times, or, if we're in a recession or not in a recession yet, just depending on where you are with that, people can tap into that equity because it's there and it's available. They maybe wouldn't like to, but they have more options than what they did back in that time frame.
Thanks for watching this short of the Real Amigos podcast. For more live streams, hit here. For more clips, hit here. We'll catch you on the next one.